I learned about Joe Foster actually. It was initially through my wife, and she found him through Google, and then it turned out to be a weird thing. But later on, during the process, I was talking to one of my really good friends who I've known for a long time, and she had seen Dr. Foster years earlier and had a great experience with him. So after that, I kind of had even more confidence, you know. So primarily, the foot concern was arthritis in my big toe, which we also refer to as like a bunion. But I also have complication of gout. And so the arthritis in the feet was getting so bad it was causing gout flare-ups. And so like last year was just horrible. Um, I probably had about 12 to 15 gout flare-ups, which I'd never had that happen before. And that's really what it was. It was pain in the foot cause a gout to flare up, and then gout flares up can, you know, they can last 3 days to 2 weeks. So it was tough. Other than I went to Dr. Foster early in the year and got some custom orthotics made, and he put in a special restrictor plate, kind of like it's called a Morton extension plate, I think is what it's called, to limit the range of motion in my big toe. And it helped for a few months, but the arthritis just kept getting worse and worse. So after that, I yeah, there really wasn't any other options. I didn't really think. I was very apprehensive. This is the first time I've ever had surgery other than have my wisdom teeth pulled, so I was very apprehensive. But no, the actual surgical process was honestly was much easier and better than I could have imagined, which leads into the recovery. The recovery of the process was actually better than I was could have been hopeful for as well. He did warn me about certain timelines of when to experience pain, and he was right on. Like he said, you know, 48 hours after the surgery, the nerve block kind of dissipates, and so that's when you really start feeling the most foot pain. Of course, he's prescribed some pain medication to kind of get you through that hump, and it just, I mean, it just followed exactly what he said. So probably the first week was the worst as far as pain. Just, you know, you had to be smart about it. No real weight bearing. Keep your foot propped a lot of ice therapy. And then by the second week, you felt like, okay, it's, you know, I could walk a little bit more with a boot on. You know, I had a big boot on. But I wore that big boot for 4 weeks. And then at that point, you could take it off and start, you know, walking a little bit more with just like a regular shoe, you know. I thought I actually was very pleased. Dr. Foster is really great, professional. He's very mellow and kind of low key. He just comes in and explains things to you. I never felt any pressure. He also actually, besides showing me the X-rays, because on the visit, you know, of course, first visit and examination, you know, they take X-rays of your foot. He showed me the process, and then he also kind of drew out on paper kind of what you to expect as far as the surgical procedure. And then he just, you know, he gave me some options as far as like, you know, if you wanted to try the orthotic first or do surgery. Eventually, I did end up doing the surgery, but it was never felt any pressure for that. And then his staff, actually, everybody I interacted with in the office was really great. Julie is the one I worked with the most because after surgery, she did laser therapy on my foot. And so I did interact with Julie quite a bit. And then, of course, Carrie is like the office manager.
Hmm.
She handled everything great and answered all of our questions about the finances and um, any concerns we had. You know, you just talk to Carrie and she just handled it. So, but everybody was great in the office. I had no complaints whatsoever. Yes, it has dramatically improved. I've not had a gout attack since the surgery. I'm up to walking about a mile. I was walking routinely before the incident, before the foot problem. I was walking 2 miles a day, so that was kind of my goal to get back to walking 2 miles a day. I'm up to walking a mile a day right now with no problems whatsoever. I could probably push it a little bit more, but he said, you know, just kind of gradually get to that process. If I go pushing it too fast, I might take a step backwards. So, you know, just do a little bit more each week. And so I'm kind of at that about a mile and a quarter right now walking. So yeah, it's dramatically improved my lifestyle. Oh yeah, I'd recommend Dr. Foster to others. In fact, I already have. I've already told my friends about him, and I have some colleagues as well. Yeah, if they're looking for a podiatrist in the area, I've already recommended him. He laid out the process well, laid out the recovery. I mean, everything was just spot on. So I was pleasantly surprised. I did do I did do the option of doing laser therapy after the surgery. He says, you know, you don't have to do that, but I went ahead and did it. And that consisted of 6 treatments of laser therapy on the foot. Um, I I had such a good experience in recovery. I would recommend that, even though I don't have something to compare it to, but uh, like I said, the recovery just went exactly the way he said. So no reservations there.